there's nothing worse than looking at your ad dashboard and seeing that you spent hundreds of dollars of clicks and ad revenue, but you're not getting any sales, no revenue, and that's a crappy feeling. So let's talk about fixing that. Now, for starters, this is a picture I took. I was actually in Monte Carlo. It's like this little tiny country between Italy and France. I think it's like a tax haven, and that's I think it's a Lamborghini. I don't know. It was some nice looking car on the docks, and they had these big old ships with like yachts. One had a helicopter on it. And it's actually kind of funny because I was walking around the yachts and I was singing that song "Rockstar" by Nickelback. To all the people working. I had a pretty good time though. It was a while ago. But anyways, let's talk about why even look at paid ads, paid traffic. There's a lot of benefits and there's some disadvantages too. And my experience is I've experimented with a lot of paid ads and free ads, and I burned myself with paid ads too. So the main thing is you want to test the waters before you jump in. And if you're losing money, you need to stop it. And that's important. We don't like to admit we made mistakes, but we have to do that sometimes. But the coolest thing about paid traffic is it's another source of traffic to your business. And I think that's very important. When it comes to traffic, I'm all the above. Okay, they all work. Some are better than others. But what you don't want to do is rely on just one traffic source. Like, I'll give you an example. If your whole business is based on TikTok and TikTok changes something, then it sucks. By having multiple traffic sources, then it's kind of like going on a road. You could handle the bumps easily and stuff. In fact, I've had the experience going to a class on TikTok shop, and the lady was teaching that shop. She was about to lose her whole TikTok shop due to violations. So it's good to diversify a little bit with traffic, okay? And there's so many other benefits too, like speed. You can get started right now, and you could test it. By some traffic things, it takes a long time to see results. You can see results right now with paid traffic. Two, it's more of a turnkey system because if you know something that's working, you can easily just scale it. By like a TikTok video, sometimes it's just luck, right? So there's a lot of benefits, so it's definitely worth checking out. And before I forget, AI has really changed the game, especially with paid ads. I even heard someplace, I'm not sure this is true, but the only way that AI is actually kind of making money, well, not the only way, but the main one is through paid ads. So it can help you so much with paid ads. Okay, so the problem with paid ads is how confusing it is. I mean, there's split testing. How do you know about the titles and the copy, and what platforms do you use, right? How do you know if it's working? How do you know if it's not working? So there's so many questions. It's very hard to just experiment with. And there's actually some software out there that does all this for you. So it makes jumping into paid ads is easier and quicker and just painless that's never been before. Because, it writes the headlines and the sales copy for you. It does all the split testing and all that boring stuff that you don't have to want to deal with. It does everything. It even monitors it 24/7. If it's not working, then it stops it. And even will scale a little bit if it is working. And so this is some amazing stuff. I think it's really cool. So that's use AI, right? Number two is some platforms work better than others, and which is why you want to test all those platforms. And again, this software here has one dashboard, so it's very simple, and you could test an ad on all 8 of the major platforms out there. So it's super simple to do, and you can see how simple is amazing in this overcomplicated world, right? Okay. The next one is building a landing page, collecting emails. You might be wondering, well, how does that increase conversions? Well, the magic with email is sometimes somebody has to look at something multiple times before they pull the trigger. And with email, you could do that. So it can highly, highly increase your conversion rate. And I know from experience. So say you double your conversion rate, right? Which you could definitely do with email. This means for every ad dollar you spent, you doubled your return. Okay. Plus, you could market multiple offers on there, and thus, increase your return even more. Okay. All right. Next up is a tripwire. Look at this video of the cat. He's dude. No, it's not like a defense booby trap. Okay. What a tripwire is somebody, as soon as somebody signs up to your landing page, you create an offer which is very high value, but it costs very low amount of money. And what it does is it turns somebody into like a, just a looky-loo, or maybe just, a freebie seeker, into a buyer as quickly as possible and as easily as possible. It's a huge psychological shift. It's kind of like the first time you go, like a guy goes to kiss a girl, there might be resistance. But as long as if that guy has kissed that girl one time, then the next time is going to be easier, right? Because the resistance, the barrier's been broken already. That's where my mind goes, okay, guys? It's the kind of the same thing, in sales. So your goal is to convert. And a tripwire will do this as easily as possible, okay? That's what it's designed to do. And now the cool thing is, you might be wondering, well, I gotta create some product for that? No, you don't. They actually have something called PLR, private label rights. It's where you own the product. You can do whatever you want with it. You can charge whatever you want with it. You can bundle it. And then you can do it. That's a perfect tripwire that you can give away. And it doesn't take that much effort. And what's so cool about these PLR stuff is you can use it for so many things, like with bonuses to help convert, right? You can use it for your landing page. You can use it for traffic. You can even use it on YouTube, where the first person gives a comment gets this PLR thing. So there's so many uses for it as well, okay? So anyways, before I forget, if you got some value so far from this video, then please consider hitting the like button and the subscribe button, because it helps me, okay? All right, the next thing, my throat's dying. The biggest mistake that somebody can make with paid ads, and I've done this, is you're focusing on cheap clicks instead of what you really, really want, and that is to get paid. Conversions. It all comes down to conversions. Everything else doesn't fucking matter, okay? Excuse my French. There's no vanity metrics. It doesn't matter about likes and views, and I just asked for a like, right? But in the online world, it's very easy to get sucked into that. Some people do that. I've been down that road. But the purpose of prospecting is to sort, okay? So you want to filter your traffic on the front end, and that's one way that you can kind of lower the cost, okay? There's an application form that somebody can fill out, and what's interesting about this application form is that it can actually help train the ad algorithms to give you better high-quality traffic, if that makes sense. Because you could put the pixel at the end of the application, and when someone makes it through, it will train those ad algorithms to do better. Because if it's just a single opt-in form, then it'll say, oh, that works, so it'll just send you more traffic. I hope that makes sense, but that's one way. Another thing too is everything has to match. I learned this from an Udemy class. But your landing page has to match your ads. They call it, see the vanilla ice cream, you get the vanilla ice cream, you call it whatever you want. So, because if something's off, the brain will go, something's off, and then there's friction. It's kind of like, what you don't want to do is have an ad for vanilla ice cream, and the landing page will have sprinkles, some hot fudge, a cherry, because maybe that person doesn't want sprinkles, right? So, maybe that person's allergic to bananas. Now your landing page has a banana. I didn't want that. So everything has to match, and that helps with conversions, okay? Speed is super important, very important. If it takes long, then people are just going to bounce. I mean, thank you, TikTok, right? TikTok made it so everybody has no attention spans. And and another thing, you could use words to filter out people that are not interested, like free, cheap, course download, template, discount. Kind of reminds me of the saying, how do you find a needle in a haystack? You burn the haystack, right? And using those words to filter them out is burning the haystack. Okay? And another thing too is retargeting is a really, really cool thing. And if you're not sure what the heck that even means, it's kind of like, well, have you ever seen, like, went shopping for something, like, I don't know, maybe a bike, just throwing it out there, and you're like, oh, that's a cool little bike, but I don't want to pull the trigger. So maybe it's on Amazon, right? And you start looking at other things like cat videos and, cats putting other cats in boxes like I just put. And all of a sudden you'll see an ad for the bike. I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell's going on? That bike's following me around. That's retargeting. And it's very, very powerful because they're more warmer. It's like somebody's already expressed interest in that, and then you can retarget them, and you could do things to help close the deal, like case studies, video testimonials, FAQs. So they're easier to close than the super cold person who doesn't know who you are, because they've already seen, say your landing page, and maybe they didn't sign up, right? And they went and looked at some cat videos. You can just send them a little ad, be like, hey, I know you checked out his landing page, but and do some, and you could help close the deal that way. I hope that makes sense. So anyways, I know this post here has a whole bunch of resources, and it has a lot like a quiz, and has some other really, really cool stuff, and I'll put the link to this post down below in the description in the first comment. Hopefully it's helpful. And you might be wondering, well, that's great, Kevin, but I don't have a high-ticket offer. Where do I find these high-ticket offers? Well, there's a whole lot of them out there, and there's some amazing stuff out there. And I actually made a whole video that goes over 9 high-ticket affiliate offers. You can check it out, and some of them pay a shit ton of money for just one sale. Just a few sales, you're done. You don't have to, go crazy. And I'll put the link to that video up here. You can check it out, and down in the description too. But I just linked to 9 of them. There's more. But some of them are really, really interesting, to at least look at. Okay. So I hope this might have been helpful, and you have a wonderful and awesome rest of your day. Take care. Bye.